either Flores played or a lot of Flores banned. More often than not, it's been banned out. And so I could expect to see that here on the attack. The first ban generally being that Flores, but there are a ton of attacking operators that are worth in taking off the board as well. Something like a Thatcher, which turns out will be our first ban, is exactly one of those examples.
Yeah, Thatcher is typically Thatcher and Flores, I think, are the two hallmark bans of this map, and there it is. There's the Flores. Expected. I mean, not much to say about that. The shield play is going to be a little bit stronger now. Usually a Flores ban goes hand in hand with a Wamai ban. And there it is. Wichita Wolves. They will end up banning both. So LiViD have a choice. Do they ban the Mira? Do they ban the Valkyrie? Do they ban something else? Something completely different? I imagine it'll probably be one of the two that I just mentioned, considering they're both pretty powerful on this map. I think I would put the Valkyrie above the Mira, though, in order of importance. Though, Wichita Wolves do start on the defense, and they will ban something completely different. It'll be the Goyo. So the shield play, despite being buffed by the Flores, has now been significantly weakened. You no longer have the Goyo that you can take on, like your bar defenses, your dining defenses for those extra shields. You're going to have to play those off-meta operators. Sure, you can bring the smoke, but you'll have to play, something like the Alibi or the Ella or the Frost or something like that.
Right, the loss of the Wamai as well, like you highlighted, Harrison, is huge in decreasing the longevity of those shield positions. Now that we have so many fewer shields actually available to be played, it'll be interesting to see how exactly these defensive teams want to set up those very positions. Of course, we will be seeing two of those shields in this first round from Wichita Wolves. They will be bringing the Alibi with, of course, the deployable shield in pocket, and Mohes will be bringing out the smoke with a deployable shield as well. But there's no Jaeger in sight, which is a very interesting thing to see, and there's no Aruni in sight as well. So there is nothing in the form of projectile denial to take care of all of those projectiles and to support those deployable shields. So we may not see those positions being held for very long in this case.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting lineup, unless Wichita Wolves just opt to really play that far forward, and stop living in their tracks before they can even start the utility clear. It's definitely an interesting philosophy from the Wolves. Now, they do have plenty of info, thanks to that Valkyrie still being left up. They have area denial with the Legion, so, even more info with that. But, again, if it comes down to that site push, LiViD should really have no problem getting themselves in. Now, Wichita Wolves are pretty far extended off the site. They're all the way towards the library side of things. But if LiViD opt to just clear through Solar or just rush through Bathroom, this could be it. Mikey will jump in. He'll hit the Alibi so they know exactly where he is as he attempts to make his entry, but he'll catch the Alibi sprinting, but looks away and loses the fight. Abinai takes the first gunfight. There's one on the window as well that Abinai is aware of. He's going to attempt to challenge and rotate into the closet as Forrest swings on to Zeno. Now it's a two-man advantage for LiViD. This rush going horribly wrong as now you've lost Whitlock. It's just Indy and Karn make it just Karn in a 1v5.
Well, disaster strikes early, but disaster that LiViD has forced upon themselves. And I think for the remainder of this round, we are going to see, well, not a lot of action here because Karn is going to sit this one out by the big garage, let Whitlock bleed out in the middle of Bathroom with that diffuser, an irrecoverable position. So this basically serving as an early tactical timeout. Not a ton to discuss, I imagine, though, as this is only one round in, and it simply went wrong because of one massively poor decision. They saw an opening. Maybe they decided, let's go for a rush. There's nobody checking over here in Bathroom. Nobody watching this Solarium-sided take, but somebody from Wichita Wolves was sitting close behind. And rarely do I get to say that the Alibi hologram was key in providing a defensive win, but right when we saw it was Mikey run through that hologram, Wichita, they knew exactly what they were dealing with, or at least to some extent. They immediately collapsed back on the site, and they dealt with it rather quickly.
Especially, too, I gotta point the finger a little bit on the entry from Mikey. It wasn't totally his fault, but the timing really screwed him up. He was caught mid-sprint in Piano, for whatever reason, and that made it so that he couldn't kill Abinai, and Abinai ended up getting a 3K. He had a pretty profound impact on the round. So that was super unfortunate for Mikey. Karn is finally going to enter the building, I guess, finishing the talk with his team. And as soon as he sees the setup, I mean, there's even a shield with footholes facing him from the bunker wall. He's going to say, nope, I don't want to push this anymore. I'm just going to sit into library for the last 10 seconds. And Wichita Wolves, well, assuming that Karn doesn't do anything in the next 5 seconds, we'll take a flawless round to start us off. Like you said, because LiViD just did something a little bit questionable.
Operators, you have run out of time.
You know what? I give them some props for trying to get something done early, trying to send a message, show that they're really here to play, but only ended up sending the opposite message, really, that they don't quite know what they're walking into, and they may not be fully prepared for this matchup. But we're not going to read overly into round number 1, because after all, it was a failed rush attempt, and well, we see those pretty regularly, although in the first round, that's not something that we generally get to see. But now I suspect that the Wichita Wolves will be on guard for the remainder of this map, and as such, LiViD will not be attempting such shenanigans again. The only shenanigans happening in this round comes down to the site selection, you could say. We are headed downstairs to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile Garage, what is generally considered the least favorable site on this map since it was introduced to the competitive lineup. I'm really curious to see what Wichita Wolves have in mind.
Yeah, this is also a site that they ran back when they were Ape. Remember? I remember Stage 1 finals. Forest players Legion on this mat, or on this site in blue, and got a 3K both rounds. Very different lineup, though, from Wichita Wolves. Not bringing that Legion, instead of putting more stock into the hatch and wall denial with the mute as well as the Cade. They've got extra info in the hands of the Valkyrie. And, you know, I've talked to many CL players about how they feel about this site. It's not, it's not anyone's favorite, but the one consensus that everyone can pretty much agree on is that you need to roam. You can't not roam on this site. And unfortunately for the attack, fortunately for the attack, the roam isn't going to go quite as planned, as Forest finds an early grave.
Yeah, not the way the Wolves wanted to start this one out, especially with your, I guess, most important support player of this round. It's your Maestro. It's the one really there to provide a lot of intel and deny the plant eventually. Thankfully, you still have a lot of intel. You still have Freak on the Valkyrie in play, and you still have 3 C4s and 2 impact grenades to eventually deny that plant. So as far as that bit of utility goes, you can find it elsewhere, but still an early pick that the Wichita Wolves would no doubt like to get back. Thankfully for them, they've got a lot of intel to work with, and that intel will net them the opening pick, at least on their side of things. It will be Call Out, credited with a perfect C4 right onto the toes of Mikey. And he will be 0 for 2 and 0 for 2 on, well, his entry, yet again, not the way he wanted to start, and LiViD overall on this map, something they need to tidy up going forward, and at least they'll get a chance to remedy some of their mistakes in this round. They can take down Abunai, who presented themselves with a rather easy engagement.
Mo immediately refrags, though, and makes sure that the roam clear does not slip away from the roam itself. Back to an even 3-on-3. Call Out trying to take an aggressive engagement with the TCSG. That is a weapon pretty rarely seen nowadays, considering its significant nerfs. But Indy's going to continue pushing down blue with an air jab as well to supplement, but unfortunately it's not in range of the doorway, so Call Out will just be able to shoot it. Whitlock trying to make his entry in will get damaged quite a bit, and Call Out floors Carnage B. Good night to the Therm, good night to the Nomad, nearly to Whitlock as well. It's a triple kill for Call Out. That leaves the Sledge all alone, no case in hand against both Mo and Freak, the dynamic new duo to Wichita Wolves, coming off of the Nocturne squad. There's 30 seconds left for Whitlock to play with. He's got pings on to Freak. Does he know about the position of Mo? He'll be able to get one, and that was actually, I believe, through the drone hole. You saw Whitlock hit the prone from the silhouette, and Mo is going to attempt to get the refrag. He knows Whitlock is lit, and as he hears the drone, he pushes in, and it's perfectly timed from Mo. Wichita Wolves take round number 2.
Yeah, Mo has had no problem getting that one done. It was a 1 HP opponent, and with the SMG-11 in hand, you just gotta hope that one of those bullets grazes his shoulder. and you'll be credited with that kill. So great round there from Wichita Wolves to close it out. You said, Harrison, that it depended on the roam, and while there were moments of maybe some spotty decision making from those very roamers, there were also moments of excellence, a great use of the intel, combining those default cams and those vault cams, working together to add so much to those roaming and so much to that roam potential. And they got several kills with that and put LiViD into a bit of a pickle early on, and a little bit earlier than LiViD were expecting. So 2 in a row now for Wichita on the defensive side of Chalet is always a great way to begin if you are a defensive team, because you want to take as many of these rounds as you can get, because typically they are few and far between. We'll be seeing how things change up, though, as we head to Barren Games. At least the first time we'll be seeing this site tonight, and the first time we'll be seeing a couple of things on the side of this Wichita Wolves defense. We'll be seeing Call Out bringing out the Echo, and Abunai pulling out the Frost as well.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, LiViD, the round started off so well, too, and then, well, Call Out on the TCSG said no. I know he's, used to be called the Bearing 9 Minister. We might have to add Cade's Slug Shotgun to that as well. And speaking of the Bearing 9, he's going to be rocking that on the Echo, since he's got Echo Shotgun, something that has resurged in popularity thanks to the Bearing 9 rebuff, I guess. It's usable as kind of a primary again, which is great. I like the Bearing 9. LiViD have lost 2 attacks in a row now, right? And we were talking about earlier how this is LiVid's chance to show us that they can attack, and they're going to need to because it's Chalet. I mean, Wichita Wolves have already taken, like, the minimum quota that you need on this map. Like, in order for LiViD to really be in a decent position, they need the next 4 rounds in a row. Anything else, even if it's a 3-3, Wichita Wolves effectively tie the half. So the pressure is, or they effectively win the half with a tie. So the pressure is really, really on LiViD right now.
And the pressure hasn't been working out for at least their entries so far. Mikey especially unable to step up and start fragging out. The story for round 3 has yet to really unfold, as the library pressure from LiViD seems to be their objective, but they're going to find a bit of trouble at the onset. Thankfully, that trouble will start to be alleviated as the head of Abunai is taken clean off with a great shot from Whitlock to open up this top floor and allow Mikey to step his way on in. Combine that with the pressure from Zeno from this window nearby Freak here on the top of library stairs, and now Freak may be forced out of this position at any moment. He'll still hold this, but now a nade will deal with that shield. And Freak is now playing with his life if he wants to hold this position any longer, because only 60 seconds remain. He's done his job in terms of time delay, but now he just needs to give up this position and spare his life. Looks like he will do that now that 50 seconds have hit that clock, and Whitlock will go for a double kill, removing Forrest from play as well.
Yeah, good use of that hatch. Not sure why Forrest was rotating through there with library control no longer in his team's favor, but here comes the Twitch. She's going to get one before being traded off, and still LiViD hold a one-man advantage. Nice shot from Karn. Down goes Call Out. It's just Mo alone. He'll confirm a triple, but he's going to need the ace if he wants to win this round. He'll attempt to retake top floor. He'll have to fight against Whitlock, as Karn will likely go for the plant soon. Whitlock, I think, has actually dropped to join his teammate. They've got pings, but fortunately, floor above them is hard. Mo will send out a C4, trying to find some sort of angle. Unsuccessful so far, but he's just got so much info to play with. The attackers constantly running around, trying to find a safe plant spot. But once again, they've got pings. There's the quad for Mo. He's looking for the ace. He'll drop the hatch and find it! Wichita Wolves take round number 3 off the back of the Valkyrie. What a play by the new pickup.
Incredible stuff from Mo, and this is something, I mean, I feel like we see it time and time again from this incredible gunner. But taking the 3rd round on Mo's back, a beautiful ace and a clutch in that 1v3 situation, I believe it ended up being. I mean, that is all you can ask for from your new pickup. I mean, he was picked up for a reason. You don't get Forceful's attention unless you really deserve it. And, well, Mohas proving his mettle in round number 3. giving Wichita Wolves a round that did not look like they were going to take by any stretch of the imagination. Wow. Impressive stuff, especially considering he's been on that Valkyrie. He was on that more supportive role, and he's back to the Echo here. So he's not in a position that he's necessarily meant to frag out every single round, but he has found a way to do so anyway. He's 7-0 right now.
Yeah, that was one of the most well-played ace clutches we've seen in CL. It was beautiful. The play from Mo was alluring. Jonah, might I even say polycrutus.
Wow.
We were talking about big words before the broadcast, so I had to throw it in somewhere. And that's a tilter. That's a tilter for LiViD, right? And we really saw the Valkyrie come into play. Like, not only, you know, of course, well, the Valkyrie came into play because she aced, blah, blah, blah. The utility, the Black Eyes. As well as the Yokais, if there were any still left up in that site. Those last two players from LiViD were just constantly being pinged over and over and over again, and there was nowhere safe to plant. I don't really know why they didn't just plant in bar and have Whitlock cover one of the doorways, because everywhere else you go, especially in games, you're susceptible to a peek from above. And that's what we saw in the end. Eventually, time ran out. LiViD were forced to make a decision, and Mo played passively enough. The plant had to be stuck. He found Whitlock above, and it was easy pickings. I mean, wow, that was incredible. But Wichita Wolves have effectively now won the half. LiViD need 3 in a row if they want any chance of still being in this lobby. Because I'm just not convinced yet. Their attacking woes have not been alleviated.
Well, we'll hopefully get a chance to see how this later round progresses. We're not going to be able to hear it because of course, a wonderful mute bug. And first 2 engagements are going to come out, but it ends up being a very silent 1-for-1 trade, or a very staticky 1-for-1 trade. Zeno now looking for another. That's going to be call out, swinging him back and forth, but neither player will end up with much of anything, as this top floor pressure from LiViD is also building at the same time. But Wichita Wolves, they seem rather comfortable, so much so that Freak is still running around upstairs willy-nilly, swinging windows, trying to get aggressive, and down below, Mo Hess is doing the exact same thing. He'll take the head of Zeno as he goes for that wide swing. Forrest will fall at the same time, so keeping things even for LiViD is Whitlock. Proving very critical now is Indy as well, who drops a double kill on the Nomad and actually gives LiViD the edge for, I guess, the second time, considering they were in a similar position last round. But now they're going to have to find a way to close it out.
Oh, we hear again? Nope. All right, we can just hear the echo noise, I guess. The game is taunting us. The one that I'm going to be concerned about for LiViD is the time. 30 seconds left, and there's still yokai drones. Or, well, there's still yokai drone. Maybe drones. So far, Wichita Wolves, the way they've played off their info has been nearly flawless. And I imagine they've still got a bunch left. Not only with those yokai drones, but again, the Valkyrie has been played every round. You see the Echo's got some pings. He'll flick over, find the head of Indy. Down he goes, and he gets away. Mo is somehow still alive. Now he can do it with call out. The 2v2 on site starts to go the way of the defense, but it's traded. Karn now needs to win this 1v1. There is no time, and he is once again stuck planting. Mo will go huge, and the Wichita Wolves grab yet another round off the info game. And Jonah, I gotta call into question. You know, we were talking about how Wichita Wolves keep winning defensive rounds. They've won the half, blah, blah, blah. Is this just going to be a defensive-sided chalet? Because sure, you might not have the shield play you normally do, but you've just got so much info.
They are playing off it so well, and it is beautiful to see. But are you kidding me, Mo? He has 11 kills in 4 rounds, and he has not died yet. We're back-to-back rounds where he has been the last player alive. Everyone else on Wichita Wolves has died 3 times each. It's like he is in a completely different lobby right now, and he is just tearing LiViD apart. Credit to everyone on Wichita Wolves, though, because like you said, Harrison, the intel game is impeccable. He was able to flick and get that pre-fire onto that trophy door because they had constant pings. constant intel and communication about what was happening. He knew there were players on both sides, but he knew which angle to prioritize. Every single fight that he took was on the back of some intel provided by somebody else. Obviously, his gun skill is getting him through as well, and he's playing incredibly, but this entire team, their coordination right now, it is exceptional to witness.
Yeah, right? Because it's not just Mo getting all these frags, which is incredible in and of itself. It's him placing the info where it needs to be and his teammates calling for him. Without the info from his teammates, Mo would not be getting, or not be nearly as successful as he is right now. But we just can't speak about it enough. The way he's been playing, because, you know, there's getting the info and then there's playing off of the info, and he has been playing off of it perfectly. And, I mean, the performance we've seen from him when he was on Nocturnes, you know, I'm going to say, I know it's only week 2, but so far seems to be amplified on Wichita Wolves. And, Jonah, there's something else that I really want to touch on, right? It's been 4 rounds. Valkyrie has been brought every single round. Echo has been brought, I believe, twice? 2 or 3 times? No, yeah, twice. Why are LiViD still running a Twitch? There's no Goyo. There's no Jaeger. Goyo and Wamai are banned. A lot of the utility that you're going to be looking for with that Twitch is either off the board or not being played. So why do they still have it? IQ, I mean, while she's not great, is perfect against a team that's running the Valkyrie Echo combo. And the Twitch just really hasn't been doing a whole lot. I mean, we've seen her, what? Shoot default cams? It's just not that useful. Why not bring the IQ?
I think LiViD, need to first identify what their problem is, right? And maybe they're making the mistake of believing the problem is their inability to shoot back against Mo right now, which, of course, that is a problem. But the problem is they are getting beaten on the intel game at every single turn. It looks like they're finally going to be able to identify at least one Valk cam and its location, but that is simply not enough. You need to fully commit to fixing your intel problems and trying to stop Wichita Wolves from beating you before you even take your first gunfight. Now, at least LiViD get the entry, and Mikey will remedy some of his entry problems he's been having, but quickly he will get traded out right away by Callout, who's in a perfect position to answer for his fallen teammate. So still, a 4 versus 4, and LiViD had failed to fully adapt, it appears at least, to the intel game from the Wichita Wolves right now. LiViD have to make some pretty sweeping changes, and I fully agree, Harrison. It starts with getting off that Twitch. Really, her primary gadget adds nothing to this attack already.
Oh, Mo! The Giant finally felled. Whitlock will nade him from below, and hey, if you can't beat Mo in a fight, well, don't fight him at all. Take him out indirectly. Beautiful adjustment from LiViD. And now they've got that one-man advantage. Make it 2 as callouts jump out is, I guess, telegraphed by either a sound cue or some sort of info, or maybe even just the game sense from Xeno. Who knows? Now it's Freak and Forest, the 2 F names on Wichita Wolves. Clutch up a 2 versus 4, make it a 1 versus 4. Xeno finds another. Unfortunately, he'll have to hit the reload and be susceptible to the swing from Fofo. But it's a 1v3, and his C4, which I thought he had already used, will be wasted anyway, not finding any damage whatsoever. He's now over by the office rotate. He'll see one moving through the breach, but only land damage on the car. No kill. Another drone coming in. Unfortunately for Whitlock, though, it drops through the hatch, and so he won't be able to see where Fofo positions himself in the site. Indy gets a little bit lit up through the piano, but he's still persisting and just delaying enough time for Karn to get this plant down and moving the clock into the attacker's corner. Indy is now posted behind the shield, and Forrest is going to have to deal with it fighting against a pistol right now. Shotgun out, trying to counter. He'll finally be able to fell the Nomad, but there's still 2 to find, and both Whitlock and Karn are backed far and away from this diffuser, knowing Forrest's kit is on the mute, and he's not going to be able to take these long-range engagements confidently, especially not with such little HP. There's one all the way back in Library, one on the balcony as well. Here's the swing from Forrest, looking for Whitlock. He'll miss shots on both the players. He'll eventually just go for an aggressive play right out the door, but he can't pull the trigger. And LiViD finally take their first attack.
Yeah, Forrest knew there really wasn't much of a chance there. It's kind of what the gooning around with the Nomad and piano was about. He was really just trying to have fun and fight his way through as many players as possible, get as many kills as possible before, of course, the eventual conclusion of that round. But LiViD finally able to stop the bleeding and get at least one attacking round on Chalet. It certainly doesn't help that this is a balanced or attacker-sided map when it comes down to it. But maybe we'll worry about that later. Right now, the focus is still on LiViD and their final chance to put another attacking win into play here. So, Wichita Wolves in that previous round, I definitely felt, though, Harrison, as if they got far too aggressive and far too confident. I think it was looking like that in the early round, but it was made abundantly clear when two players swung the piano window right after another. The first one getting quickly fried by Zeno, and the second one, Forrest, able to get that trade. But at that point, just seeing their play style, I think they were really riding the high that Mo had been providing them over these previous rounds, that simply they were going to win every gunfight they took. But finally, LiViD, they wisened up a little bit. They started to win some of these gunfights, and maybe they were a little bit more prepared for that Wichita Wolves aggressiveness that they are bringing out here on the defensive side. So I suspect we'll see a little bit of a change here from the Wolves, and maybe we'll see them tone things down just a bit.
Yeah, especially to not only like double swinging piano, but double swinging piano after someone already died in the bathroom run out.
Yeah.
They really wanted that kill. So hopefully Wichita Wolves, like you said, tighten up. They're finally bringing is this the first time we're seeing Jaeger?
Feels like it, actually.
I think it is.
Which is weird.
Yeah, normally Jaeger, who is one of the highest pick rate ops in the entire game, has not been seen until the last round of the first half. That's something I never thought I'd say without
Same
him
for
being
Rooney, no?
banned. Oh yeah, same thing for Rooney. Yeah, Wichita Wolves have had some interesting lineups, and the moment that they bring Rooney and Jaeger, we've got Thunderbird and Frost. So Thunderbird coming into her own again, helping increase the longevity of certain positions. Also, Freak, uncharacteristically on a donut. I mean, it hasn't really been needed, considering Wichita Wolves are up 4-1 on their defense. He maybe could have been used in the last round if he had found a couple kills. Maybe it goes a different way, but, not going to harp on him too much because his team is winning by a pretty decent margin, so.
Well, Karn has effectively worked his way up, actually securing top floor control, at least on this northeast side. Working their way across to library will be the next step. LiViD not opting to take a more typical direct library approach and immediately force their way in above that site, instead hoping to secure map control first and work their way from the piano side. So far, it's been effective, at least at securing map control, but no kills have been found, nor has library been cleared out as of yet, because only these windows have been opened, and that is it. Abonai is going to be more than comfortable sitting in library for an extended period of time. And LiViD, although smart as it is to secure intel and figure out what you're dealing with, they do not have the time anymore. They only have 50 seconds left, and they haven't even attempted to clear library. They're already going to lose Mikey. And now, with, the intel you should have, they need to get going. They need to start clearing out and taking gunfights because they are out of time. Indy will get one. Quickly swung again by Forrest, who won't quite be able to get that kill onto Indy right back. And actually, Zeno will get one onto Abonai to open things up a bit for this attack.
So it's a one-man advantage for the attack, but at what cost? Indy is also extremely low, and you've barely got any time. 15 seconds. Forrest will even things up onto Indy. Freak now lit, but he still persists, and he'll actually end up re-swinging and getting the kill onto Zeno. Now it falls the way of the defenders. Whitlock gets that equalizer. 2 versus 2. Now Karn with the important kill into sight, but he's got to stick this plant. Is Freak going to be there in time? It doesn't look like he knows where the attackers quite are, but he'll see the planter through the wall. Wichita Wolves with round 6 once again. They didn't have nearly the same amount of info, but they still win because LiViD didn't have any for themselves either.
They spent the entire round getting intel about the top floor, that when it came down to the site itself, their intel game was abysmal. I mean, I really wish that wasn't the same problem that they've been having in some of these rounds, but not approaching library at the onset is one thing. You don't have to go library direct. Taking map control is often a smart approach, but with that, you need to be efficient. You need to make sure that you're not going to let the time get the better of you. As
Defenders protect your
amateurish
bombs from
as
being
that
defused by
sounds, it's not
attackers.
something I would normally expect to have to say for a team like LiViD. They generally seem to know what they're doing. It's that all of that time spent on that top floor, not even securing library control until the last few seconds, meant that they had no control of either of the bomb sites below. They were able to get some frags, and I'll give that to them. They actually held the man advantage at times. It was, again, a 2v1 with them up at the end of the round. They have been in the advantage several times now, but a lack of an intel game has resulted in a problematic situation when it comes to those 1vx's. You don't lose 1vx's if you know where that last player is. Never. You'll take gunfights together, or you'll isolate yourselves away from that player. Instead, we are seeing 1v1 engagements. We are seeing plants go down in the incorrect spots. And unfortunately, it's too late to remedy that. The half is over, and Wichita Wolves, they now get to attack. They now get to show what they've got on this half of things. They can get aggressive if they want to.
You can see they're bringing the info for themselves, not only with the Lion, but Jonah, what's that? What's Abinai on? It's on the IQ. LiViD had shown the Valkyrie. Of course, she's not in play, but they had it. The IQ would definitely help. Not sure, she's probably not really going to be too useful at this point, but hey, he's got the spirit, and I'm happy about it. In comes another EE1D from Forest. He's only got one left, as all of Wichita Wolves are hell-bent on pushing Solar and the bathroom window, and that is pretty much it. I imagine as Wichita Wolves start to gather this info, somebody is going to be jumping in the bathroom pretty damn soon, especially considering there's really no one on the defense who's directly contesting it. Abinai is just going to simply swing in and actually wins the fight on the Xeno. It's actually call out with that kill. Force follows it up on the Karn. I don't know how they were able to make their entry in, but Mikey will try and make amends. Down goes Abinai. Freak is also on the floor, but call out keeping his team in the advantage with the kill on the Indy. It's now a 2 versus 3 with LiViD on the back foot. Wichita Wolves now full control of Solar as well as underneath, and Mikey, despite a minute 15 being left on the board, only has one gas canister in his pocket to delay.
He did use one to get a kill, so definitely a good application of that utility, but maybe not the greatest, because with this entry that Wichita Wolves have already made, they can push this site theoretically at any time. Whitlock is in no immediate position to stop that, and Mikey isn't either. Relying on that last toxic canister will help you for what? That momentary delay. But that's just about it. And Mohesi, he wants to come in and he wants to change this up. He's going to go for this plant right away. Here comes that smoke, but I don't believe that's in range. No, that is not going to catch out Mo. He is going to be comfortable to get that plant down, and here comes the upside down master repel, the most typical position that is going to be held every single time attackers push this site. And Forrest will find a kill with that very position. Whitlock responds, getting a kill onto Callout, but now he has to fight against two defenders, or attackers, now turned defenders, as they sit back and hold down this diffuser. They can both play passive. They know exactly what they need to do. They could even play vertical down below. That's where Mo is heading. He's actually going to have to change his mind here, because Whitlock may get this off if he doesn't get here in time. But no need to worry. Mo will run back up the Solarium stairs, quickly shut down that diffuser, and it will be the 6th round for the Wichita Wolves. They move ahead to match point.
That was quite the blitz into Solar as well. I am impressed that it worked out for the attack. And at the end there, Whitlock, that was a nice try, but was not enough. Wichita Wolves lead 6-1. LiViD, I mean, there's no other word for it. LiViD are just getting throttled right now. Wichita Wolves have them in a choke hold. They show no signs of stopping. They look rejuvenated after last stage, and it's very nice to see. Glad to see Mo and Freak really fitting in with the roster so far. And LiViD are going to start off their last chance string of defenses with Bard Game. They have not defended it yet, because they had just gone to Master. both their attacks on this site were a failure. So hopefully, hopefully they at least know how to defend it.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
One could hope, because if not, the Wolves will have 2-7-1 victories in back-to-back weeks, which is quite a statement to be making, especially amongst Group B, only 2 weeks in to Stage 3 here of NACL. So, is this the return to form? You know, is this the Stage 1-8 that we missed so dearly in Stage 2? It could very well be. Or maybe it is the fact that Panic and LiViD just are not living up to expectations themselves, and maybe they are the ones struggling a little bit more this stage. This certainly seems like a LiViD struggle, not simply Wichita domination, although it is a little bit of both for sure. But you look at some of these typical gunners on the side of LiViD, and you can see that they're all relatively quiet. The only player actually going positive right now, well, Karn is pretty dead even, but Whitlock is 9-5. He's the only one really showing up for LiViD right now, and they need more than just one player to step up, especially now that the Wolves are in a position to finish this one out here.
Especially rough when Whitlock is your only player positive right now. And you got people like Mo going 12-2. This guy is just incredible. He's got a 6.0 KD.
That's nice.
6.0! And it only has a chance... Well, not only, but it has a chance of even increasing in this round if he gets any more picks. The attackers trying to entry into library will start to open up the blacktop wall, covering, I believe that is Whitlock playing there. Yeah, it's the silhouette of the Jaeger. E1D goes off. It'll lock him in place. The attackers will not be able to do anything but damage. But as I say that, it's actually Forrest with the first kill on to Mikey. Mikey just has not been able to find any success so far. And despite how good and consistent he was on Lenny, it's really sad to see. He hasn't been able to replicate it here on LiViD. And Whitlock will go 1-for-1 with Abinai, effectively keeping that man advantage in the pockets of the attackers.
Wolves looking to close this out as we get under, or just about under, this 60-second mark. They've got nearly half top floor control. It just comes down to dealing with that two final players, in fact, Karn, who will make his presence felt. A little bit of a retake into library, proving effective so far as he will silence Mo, providing Mo's third death of the match. But in the meantime, you've got several other Wichita attackers moving in from elsewhere. Freak will now join Forrest and Callout, pushing directly into this first floor, neglecting to take full library control, but trying to play a bit more aggressively. It pays off for Callout. It pays off for Freak. Karn gets one, and now it's going to be all up to India. Headshot there on a Freak through the wall. Now a 1v1 versus Callout. He'll whip out the pistol, go for the Magnum play, but a flash dump comes in, forces him to back off and Callout with the bearing 9 in hand will get aggressive and win that gunfight. The Wichita Wolves take round 8, and they take their second 7-1 dominant victory for 2 weeks in a row.
Wow, Wichita Wolves just look incredible. Like, I don't know what happened, but there are no signs of the stage 2 troubles that we saw. Mo going 12-3.